microphones, software, guests, and audience. My grandfather used to tell me stories about the old days, a time of peace when the host kept balance between microphone echoes, software problems, unfocused guests, and a lack of audience. But that all changed when Donald arrived. Only the host that mastered all four of these elements, only he could stop the ruthless Donald. But when the world needed him most, he vanished.
Just cue the music. What was that?
I was hoping to be like, it's a me, it's a Mario.
I just was fathomed by your avatar.
Well, I'm glad you handled that the same way I usually handle it.
What the heck was that?
I don't know what to say here.
Cheaters. We're still rolling on this, and now we're going to go into the podcast version. Also, apologize for the video audience if I do not look at you, because everybody's over here. It's going to be really hard to do both. But I'll make sure I won't do this the entire time.
But you get to see me.
You're going to be winking at this camera, aren't you?
Yeah. I'll give him a couple kiss blows,
All
too.
right, let's get into it. The behind the scenes version.
Ba-da-ba-ba-bum.
All right, let's get to it. You guys ready?
Yep.
Welcome to Don't Evolve Me, the place. Like Ash Ketchum with Pikachu, we don't evolve, we just...
Level up!
Level up.
Oh, man.
Drinking your energy drink.
Yep, that was my bad. Poor timing.
Cheers.
Or great
Nice work.
timing. Cheers.
You don't have an energy drink. You can screw off.
Non-sponsored Arizona green tea.
I mean, I'm not sponsored.
Not yet.
Sorry.
Wait. What do you got?
For the camera there, guys.
G Fuel.
G Fuel.
Yep.
I watch Ace Chandler Liam. He's sponsored by G Fuel, and that's how he says it.
Okay.
You got Monster.
Yeah, I just did a post for your camera. For the free advertising. They might call you after this.
I just have to
Yeah. So you could just be lying, is what you're saying. That might not even be green tea.
It could just be water.
Wow.
Yeah, 4 Arizona green tea. They went up in price.
Yeah, that's
sponsor me.
$1.19 or $1.29. Oh.
But I will do the bottom if you sponsor me. All right, let's get into it. We got Brandon Klein off camera.
Hello, hiding in the corner.
Am I supposed to say your name? I'm not supposed to say your other name, right?
Yeah, you're fine. It's fine.
Yeah, what's his other name?
You know, if you become this like major hit and people are like, "Who's this person?" They can just like circle back here.
Yeah. But I mean, even a name isn't really enough to figure somebody out these days.
That's fair. And then we got
It's me, I'm Mario.
Don
Johnson. Yeah, that's me again. Yeah. At least we have a call sign for me. We didn't have anything for Brandon.
Yeah, you will in the future. It's like this weird like middle ground so you get your helmet figured out.
Yeah.
Did you know he really likes Legend of Korra? Unbelievable.
Me?
Oh no, we're talking about Brandon. Just trying to get him a little triggered. Is it working?
We're not talking about Korra.
Not yet.
All right, let's get into it because we don't have a whole lot of time before we go to our D&D episode later, which I don't know when that's going to be released because that kind of was a surprise in my scheduling. So, surprise. All right, what are you nerding out on, Brandon? You know your answer. I already know your answer.
Yeah.
Wait, but the audience doesn't know his answer?
Yeah.
The audience doesn't. We'll come back to it, so we'll talk about it. All right.
What am I nerding out on? I mean, it's kind of the same thing as last time. You know, there's the white collar stuff, but as this weather warms up, getting this motorcycle tuned up. It's getting me way too excited to get on the bike. Can't get on the bike because it's too cold, so I just cleaned it up and looked at it, and it was beautiful, and I cried, and then I went back and watched White Collar.
Yeah.
I know, I was about to take it out, but I was like, how weird would people think if I took my motorcycle out?
When I had my motorcycle, I was definitely a fair weather rider. Once it's nice outside, that's when you really enjoy it. Yeah, when it gets too cold, it's not that enjoyable. 60 is good, but like it's borderline.
Right.
Yeah.
Anything else, Brandon?
Oh yeah, well, thanks for calling me Brandon. I appreciate that. Anything else I'm gonna nerd out on? No, not much. I didn't have nerdy socks on today. I'm really disappointed in myself.
Well, we don't do that anymore. But Brandon's ready.
Yeah, I got Harley Quinn. Yep, I got Harley Quinn socks.
Poor choices. Harley Quinn's overrated. We all know it.
What?
Yeah, like take the socks and put it on the camera.
Oh yeah, stretch. Gosh, that looks good. You guys are missing out. This is a whole.
Let's talk.
This is a podcast and a show.
I made a meme. Please check it out on the Facebook page because I made a meme specifically for Brandon. It's kind of like both of us.
Yeah.
But it's really specific for this episode alone.
Yeah.
And it's the classic, the guy checks what the other girl was with his girlfriend meme.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the girlfriend is Avatar.
Mm-hmm. And
the other girl was One Piece.
Yeah. I think I put down like 200 episodes in the last like week and a half.
Yeah, you caught up to me pretty big. There's a
That's impressive.
Yeah. Nobody can binge watch like me.
I mean, you got the time.
Let's not bring that into
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like mine's impressive for my situation.
Oh gosh.
So I have to watch it with a wife and then around kids as well. At least one of the kids, because he's smart enough to pick up.
You just got to step your game up, get an earbud, watch it on your phone all the time while you're doing
I gotta
other
watch
things.
it with wife.
Oh, see that was your mistake.
Marriage.
That was the mistake.
Golly.
His daughter is really cute. She'll just run around and go, gum, gum. And I'm like, you watch it too much around her.
That is cute, though.
It is pretty cute. Can't watch her around Scott because he'll start doing this with a, you bastard, or something. Which would also be cute.
Yeah, within reason, yeah. That's fair.
Right.
I'll allow it.
Brandon, what else are you nerding on real quick?
I mean, really, that's been it. It's been a One Piece. I mean, I've been playing a little bit of Magic and Lorcana online, off and on, trying to stay in the game, but mostly just watching One Piece.
I'm slowly doing Baldur's Gate.
Yep.
I haven't finished Act 1, but I killed most of the Goblin camp.
Okay.
That's what I did. I was like, you know what? I want Halsin, so I'm gonna kill the camp. But I kind of wanted Myth-Earth on my team. But now I'm just kind of like roaming the area and so I went online. I'm like, oh, I haven't found this spot, this or this, and so I'm kind of just roaming until I go into Act 2. Finished Miles Morales.
Oh, nice.
It's a short game.
Yeah, it is.
But it's a pretty fun game. I don't mind the story. It's not like as good as the first one, but I'm like, it's
self-contained and short.
Yeah.
I was a little disappointed by the fact that there's only like one villain in the whole thing.
Yeah.
Spider-Man's kind of known for having a rogue of
not
villains.
Miles Morales.
Yeah,
though.
That's fair. It is different.
Yeah.
Miles Morales really doesn't have a rogues gallery. He has the Prowler, and that's about it.
To be fair, I mean, Miles Morales was the character that would start off that they didn't think was going to work, and then everybody just fell in love with him. So,
one of the only characters to survive the Ultimate Universe and get put into the main universe.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, we hit our time for the news.
Is it news to me or a news quickie? Did they take a vote? Did they take a vote? What'd you guys vote on? Did I win?
We did not do a vote yet.
Oh, that's unfortunate. He said he was going to do it. He lied to me.
The episode. Anyway, we're getting into the news, which we'll jump into the other news, the Avatar news,
because it's news to me.
All right, the first news. I'm really into pops, especially Pokemon pops. So there's a few pops that I need to talk about that came out. Brandon's shaking his head. He sent it to me.
Yep.
It's the Invincible pop. It's literally the meme of Omni-Man going, think, Mark!
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's, I need it.
I haven't all bloody and beaten on the ground.
I need it. I pre-ordered two of them, the two on Amazon. I pre-ordered Omni-Man and Adam Eve, because those are out, as well as Invincible. But yeah, I'm very much like, I love Invincible too much not to get it.
Yeah, those are good pops.
Yeah. All right, some other news we kind of talked about last week. Miley Alcock is now going to be Supergirl. And the upcoming movie, she played the preteen teenage version of Rhaenyra Targaryen on House of Dragons. And it's like,
I haven't watched that.
It's good.
She did a really good job.
She did. We have also talked about this, but I want to bring it up. Donald Glover has confirmed that the Community movie has been written. 6 seasons of the movie, baby.
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
Oh no, it's about when?
Just hope they're able to get
6 seasons in a movie.
The people sign back
Cool.
on
Hey,
as
Troy's back.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Halo 2 is out, and I watched it last night.
The show.
It's season 2.
Oh, gross. Why?
Did you watch the first one?
I watched the first one.
Just checking.
It's a show.
That's what that is.
There was like some moments
That it is.
Really
It's show.
because it feels like the video game. And
Were you a big Halo fan? Like, did you actually get into Halo?
I got the first two.
Yeah.
First two. I will say I don't understand the story of the season 1. I'm like, this doesn't feel like the games that I played.
It's not.
And it's very like a dark. It's very like a hey, we're the world government, but we're evil. And it's like, well,
we've seen that a million times.
Yeah, on top of the fact that like Chief, like he's a part of it.
Did you just call him Pastor Chief?
Pastor Chief.
I
like it.
Chef.
Master Chef.
Pastor Chef.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm realizing I'm kind of dyslexic, and I'm like I will switch words around without even thinking about it.
Oh, it's totally okay as long as you don't mind us laughing at you a little bit when you do it.
Yeah, I laugh at it myself.
Yeah.
All right. Star Wars news.
Ooh.
Gina Carano is now suing Disney for legally firing her.
Star Wars news. Kind of.
I mean, is it Star Wars news or is it more like Disney news? But I mean, it's kind of Star Wars news. But
I don't know. I like her character, but at the same time, like you can't really compare like the shit talk to the Holocaust. It's kind of yeah. We'll see. I just thought it was interesting to like, oh, this came out. I'm like, oh, that would.
I guess anytime anybody tries to sue Disney, I guess it's at least a little interesting because you know they're not going to win.
Yeah, it's a statement standpoint.
She didn't have a contract, so like her contract ran out and she just didn't get renewed.
Yeah, so you didn't really get fired.
All right, should we talk about the big news? The big news that actually matters.
Sure. Let's hear it.
All the Avatar news about this Netflix show.
Oh, dom bom bom.
Yeah, I've been trying to avoid it, but I definitely keep seeing things all the
time. I think we need to talk about it.
Yeah, are we avoiding this or are we going into it?
No, we're going into it. I think we need to talk about it.
Okay. Which one are we going to start with? That's the real question. Does he have the list? Which one are we starting with? That's what matters. Is he going to read something? I'm excited. I'm just going to let you cook. You're making me nervous at the same time.
We just go back to the beginning. Unfocused guests. You're Donald.
I'm unfocused guest.
Or is that Brandon over here?
Yeah, I'm here.
A bit of both.
All right, so I'm just going to read some quotes and we'll talk about it. All right. I feel like we also took out the element of how sexist Sokka was. I feel like there were a lot of moments in the original show that were iffy, said Katara's actress. I really
a kid show. Let's just keep this in mind.
So that was the first quote that I saw was about Sokka's sexism and how they removed it from the show.
So basically, we took out Sokka's arc.
Yeah, right.
And then just eliminated it. His whole character arc. Yeah, that's what we did.
The whole thing is that you start out flawed so you can learn and grow from your mistakes. But yeah, if there's no flaws and they're just perfect people to begin with, then there's no
there's no arc to build off.
Yeah, exactly.
That's Sokka's whole first arc in the whole first book.
Yeah, exactly.
They're like, nah, it doesn't matter.
I hope they only tweaked it and not actually
removed it.
I could see him maybe changing some of the comments he makes a little bit to make it hit a little less hard and stuff like that. But at the same time, that's kind of like a theme of the whole.
Yeah, that was the whole reason of his arc and his story, though.
Like Katara and the North Water tribe and their sexism and stuff like that too is kind of a big part of it in the story.
That is the whole story of the whole Water tribe thing. All the men are off in the war. All the women were carrying, in the. And we got to think too. This is where I don't know. I'm hoping they do it right. And like I said, they just numb it a little bit.
Right.
But this is what it was like years and years and years and years ago. So Sokka being that, like that, it would have made sense. But he's still good with his arc. Yeah, it fit the world and the lore and our past.
Yeah, it doesn't make it right, and he learns from it as the show goes on and stuff. And that's like you said, that's part of his arc is him.
Some of the women that he dates are kick-ass women.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. He learns.
Yeah, I forgot.
He learns really quick, and he becomes a better person for it, and it's great. That was the coolest part about the show. And as a kid, seeing that, it was, I don't know. To me, as a kid, it was very direct. Right? I understood exactly what they're going for, and that's why it was so direct. Yeah.
That is a good way to put the show in general. It's just concise.
Yep.
Everything is very on point and just kind of hits the beats as it needs to.
And beautifully done.
All right, should I go on to the next?
What's the second one? Don't break my heart again.
There are certain roles that I think that Katara did in the cartoon that we didn't necessarily also do here. I don't really want to get into a lot of that, but there are some gender issues that didn't quite translate from the cartoon. And I know I saw a couple of quotes about how she is not the motherly figure that she was in the show.
Yeah.
Which is, again, kind of like Sokka.
Yeah, it's kind of neutering the character at the same time.
So
Katara's arc is becoming, a strong warrior,
Exactly. It's her becoming a mom, becoming the warrior she is.
You got to start somewhere.
So, are they Henry Cavilling this with The Witcher and just taking that story and going like, we can do our own thing? Or is this going to be Avatar?
The same names and make our own boring story.
I hope not.
Yeah.
But we'll cover the
See, that
thing in here kind of.
That's the thing. Like, you already have the story written to you. You just do that in live action. Like, that's all you got to do.
You don't even need to like shorten it and tweak it that much.
It's the same with The Witcher.
Only 20 episodes of the first season.
Yeah.
You know, like that's almost a regular season length of a Netflix
Well, like
show.
you don't have to do all those episodes either.
Yeah,
All those episodes were.
Yeah, there's lots of fillers in between a lot of those episodes because it was a kid show for a while.
You can expand more on some of the other storylines that are just one episode long instead of making it,
Exactly. You make it an hour long, you get 4 episodes in one episode.
Right. Kind of expand the whole.
I really hope that Tony's character, it's like Sokka. I hope it's just like we didn't lean hard on like her maternal.
Yeah, like they did, in the anime. Which makes sense. That's my hope.
There's 8 episodes, right? Netflix shows 8 episodes.
8 or 10.
But the fact that you come up with this before you begin the show, like to level set expectation, that's what concerns me. Like, what are you doing?
You're gonna make tweaks and stuff like that, but it's like they're trying to cover their asses before the show comes out and make all these excuses for why people aren't gonna like it.
Well, let's do the third big quote.
Uh-oh.
So we decided to make Aang's narrative drive a little clearer. In the first season of the animated series, he's going from place to place looking for adventures. He even says, first we gotta go and ride the elephant koi. It's a little looser as it befits the cartoon. We needed to make sure that he had a drive from the start, and so that changes, and that's the change we made. We essentially gave him the vision of what's going to happen, and he says, I have to go to the northern water and try to stop this from happening. That gives him much more narrative compulsion going forward, as opposed to Brandon's shaking his head.
God!
Opposed to, let's make a detour and go ride the elephant koi. That type of thing. So that's something, again, that's part of the process of going from Nickelodeon cartoon to Netflix serialized drama.
Well,
once again, just taking out Aang's arc.
Yep.
Yep.
Once again, his whole thing is, he is a carefree, and the whole point of like book 1 is him seeing like how the world actually is now.
So he takes responsibility and takes action.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't need Aang to take action in the beginning. He's just a kid.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't. He needs to figure
the
out
responsibility that the Avatar has. Yeah. So man, now you're ruining the show before it even begins.
Well, it's probably not.
I feel like it's just gonna be really boring.
Yeah, I just really hope it's not like, hey, we don't understand the characters, so we're just gonna take the 3 arcs because time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's my hope.
All right. Last quote, and then I don't know if you guys saw their latest trailer.
No, I haven't watched it.
Have you watched the latest trailer? Okay.
Not yet.
I'll talk about the latest trailer after we go through this one quote, because this is probably the quote that most people are about. We had to make it a serialized Netflix drama, which meant it couldn't be just for kids. It also had to appeal to the people who are big fans of Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah.
And so it had to feel grounded and mature and adult in that way, too.
Yet they can't have any sexism or anything like that in it, because that would be too far.
Yeah.
But they can do Game of Thrones style.
Yeah.
That makes sense. The logic applies.
Episode with incest.
We're going to talk about like this whole Avatar, like the show, and we're going kind of like episode to episode, and it's kind of interesting because here, let me read my notes. Southern Air Temple. We got a genocide in episode 3.
Yep.
This is a fucking kid show. We get a genocide in episode 3. It's a pretty mature show.
Oh, it really is.
Yep.
I mean, the themes, the points.
The themes, points, the direction it takes, everything about the show is actually pretty mature and a good lesson learned item.
The young girl has sacrificed herself to basically save the world at the end of it.
Book 1 or the show?
Book 1. Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Oh, Sokka gets a girl to like him, and
he has a tragic love life. Honestly,
yeah, he does.
He just meets all of these beautiful women that he falls for, and then just has to leave them.
Yep. The big question is, did him and Suki get together in the end?
In the first season?
No, like
at the very end. Yeah, unclear.
Yeah, I can't remember how.
It's not even like clear.
They didn't even do it in Korra. They just mentioned Sokka a little bit and the characters. Let's not start with Korra. We didn't talk about that. Didn't exist in this episode. It's not real.
It
Yeah, exactly.
So, I watched the newest trailer. I think they dropped this purposely because it's kind of like the behind the scenes look. And I just realized I'm doing this in front of the camera. I gotta not do that. Gotta do this over here.
Weird hand motions on the.
So I watched it, and I watched like the character. There was a lot of like dialogue, character interactions, just a lot of action in it. And I will say, after watching the trailer, I do have a good feeling about this show. It kind of was the opposite of the quotes. If they would have said none of these quotes and they would have just dropped this trailer, I would be hyped right now. Because it was a pretty good trailer. It looks really good. The characters actually feel like the characters, unlike the movie.
Never seen the movie. Never will.
Don't. Yeah. It's the only movie that gets a 1 star from me.
Yeah, I'll never see that.
I've never.
That's the only movie?
Well, there's a few others that.
I was going to say, have you seen the movie called Rubber? That's up there. But anyway.
That's fun.
So is it 2?
Hey, I love the bad horror movies.
But anyway, yeah, I haven't seen it, but like I said, I'm not down. It can't be. It's got to be better than the movie, right?
They show scenes from the Blue Spirit, and it looks fabulous.
That's the other thing that I'm curious to see. Like the action in this show is actually like super good. Like the fight scenes and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, there's so much.
Yeah, like it's so fast paced and everything feels like it has so much impact and like real and stuff like that. And I'll be curious to see how well.
From what I've seen, it looks like they got it. Iroh looks like it feels like Iroh. Zuko feels like Zuko. Sokka actually the actor who played Sokka, he made a joke. It was a shit joke, and I'm like, that's Sokka. Like he's not even trying. He's trying to be funny, and he's not. And I'm like, that's Sokka for you. Like,
nailed it.
Sokka.
Good cast call.
Like good job. Aang feels a little off, but I don't really know if anyone's going to.
That would be hard to take animated Aang into real life, though. If you got to think about that.
So bubbly.
Yep.
And fun and free spirited.
Yeah. Like you almost have to make your own character.
Yeah.
Yeah. Animated Aang to real life Aang would be a tall order in the first place. So
I will say that
can't hate on that.
The guy that plays Luffy in the live action, I am a pretty big fan of.
Oh,
it's definitely different, but I think he portrayed him very well.
He's almost like in the One Piece in that show. He felt a lot more inspiring, and in the show he's very inspiring. But it's like over the course of the season, where like just live action him is so like, I would abandon my kid to go follow him too. Like that's how inspiring he is. When it actually do that.
All right, I'll have to watch it. Gosh dang it!
It's really good.
It is really Netflix for sure. Just watch live action.
Gotcha.
It is really. It is.
I got him.
Yeah, it is.
Bro got me.
It is a show that shows that anime adaptations can be done. Because even
Perfect.
One Piece is a wild show. I mean, like there's wild characters and designs and stuff like that, and to translate that so well into live action is impressive.
And meme. No, I was kidding.
Before we get into book 1 of the animated series, I want to throw out a fun fact.
Ooh, is it actually fun?
Star Wars related. I did not know this.
This is an interesting fun fact for an Avatar show.
So, fun fact: Dave Filoni directed a bunch of episodes from book 1.
Oh, well, we knew that.
Episode 1 and 2.
I thought you said it was a Star Wars fact. You piece of shit.
He runs Star Wars now.
Is he like the
By the way, Star Wars fact: Dave Filoni also ran some Avatar shows.
Episode 1 and 2 of Prison Jet.
That's an Avatar fact.
Northern Air Temple and Siege of the North. Like
that's like half.
Those are like the best episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right,
let's get into it. So
you had me at Star Wars fact.
Actually, before we get into book 1, before rewatching it, at least for Brandon and I, how do we feel about Avatar as a whole? The Last Airbender, not Korra.
It's an epic. It's a perfectly made epic. That's what I would say about it.
Perfectly made?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's pretty cool.
For what it is, you got to take in consideration it was a kid's show and stuff, but the fact that they were able to take a kid's show and make it that quality and that level and still have it be a kid's show, I think it's like perfect.
I think it's like the show that like shows you that you can make a family-friendly show with very mature themes and still make almost a near masterpiece.
Absolutely.
It also shows that Americans can make their own version of anime with success.
It is the one honorary anime that I know of that actually people will consider to be an anime, even though it wasn't made in Japan.
I would say like if someone was like favorite anime and they're like Avatar, I'm like technically no, but honestly it basically is. It is that style. How do you feel about book 1 before rewatching it?
Before rewatching it?
Yeah.
And it's been a little while. I couldn't remember too much of the specifics of stuff. And I couldn't remember exactly how it ended. I knew it ended like with the Northern Water Tribe, but I couldn't remember how everything kind of went there.
Yeah.
But yeah. My favorite. I mean, it gets more exciting as it goes on, obviously. It's first got to set everything up and stuff. But
this is probably my most memorable book, but least favorite book.
Yeah, I mean, it's the first one. It's setting things up.
It's definitely the world building book. That's the way you look at it. I mean, they don't really focus too much on any intertwined areas, and then it's really just a world mapper. Yeah. That's why it's probably the least favorite book, I think. Because you're
extremely important.
Very important.
Yep.
There's a lot of episodes and like a lot of characters that we meet that are huge early on, or just like establishing the lore of the universe.
Absolutely.
And which is like why when there was like a book 1 movie, I'm like, how do you do book 1 in a movie? The answer is you don't. It's fucking trash. I'm still mad.
Yeah.
But Netflix is, I forget if it's 8 or if one of you guys want to look up how many episodes.
I feel like it's probably 8 episodes.
I think it is 8.
That's what.
Looking it up.
But it's like, how do you make 8 episodes? And I know One Piece did it, so it's possible. And you have to cut a lot of things. But it's one of those, like, I don't know, can you do book 1 in one 8 episode season? To me, it feels like you almost have to split into 2. Huh?
It is 8.
It is 8. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're saying book 1 in one Netflix season?
Yeah.
I think that 8 hours worth of content is enough time to do it. Because each of the episodes, just like One Piece was only 8 episodes long, and they got through the whole hour-long.
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the show, I mean, I think there's 20 episodes, 20 minutes apiece.
It's almost the same length.
They do an hour apiece now for 8 episodes. It's 3 episodes times. It's 24 technical episodes.
But this is about the animated show, not the Netflix. So
we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see how that turns out when it comes out.
But book 1. Should we just get into the episodes and kind of?
Yeah, let's start from there.
All right.
Episode 1. Do you want me to do the preview and intro of how this episode begins?
Do you have it up and ready?
He knows.
No, I just gonna give you the setting, right? Is that what we're gonna start with? And they're all just sitting on the water, and Sokka's fishing, and he's yelling at. Sorry, I'm going for it. All right, it begins. Is the beginning of the show. Here it starts. Get your Coolio intro that no one knows what's going on. It's the first time you've ever seen Avatar. You've seen this as a kid. You're like, what is this show? And you have Sokka there fishing, trying to catch a little fish. And yelling at Katara in the back, who is practicing her water bending powers. And Katara catches the little fishy. You know what I'm talking about? And then there's sexist Sokka basically saying women can't do anything. It's all about him that has to provide. And long story short, Katara has the fish, and then she loses the fish, and they yell at little teeny spat fight. And then
makes fun of her bending.
Yeah, it makes fun of her bending for a little bit and what it is, and her magic water powers or whatever. And it's called. And then Katara gets mad. It's water bending, man. Wow, I remember this a lot. This is crazy. But anyway, and then they were doing that, and all of a sudden they see this glowing figurine type style person, and everything is mysterious from here. Because as a kid, you're like, "What is happening right now?"
Wasn't there a shipbreak first, and they end up on icebergs, and that's how they float to the Avatar?
Oh yeah, there's shipbreaks. Yeah, that's pretty much the opening.
Yeah,
the show begins. Do you want to take it from there?
Well, then Avatar comes out. The meet and greet of the village, figure out who this little boy is, and then there is this big prince Zuko's just like, it's the Avatar.
Just knows.
Yeah. He doesn't know. But he's just like, he's so desperate at this point that he's literally just jumping at everything. And he just happens to be there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is like probably the most like plot, like very much like,
oh yeah, because people don't really, like, if you look at them, they don't really believe in Sokka's what he's saying, and Sokka doesn't really believe in himself, really. Yeah. They're just desperate at this point. It's been 100 years. Oh. That's, yeah, but it's been 100 years. That's the point.
Pretty close. Yeah. But yeah. I simply just wrote thoughts on Aang, Sokka, and Katara. I don't have much to say about this like episode. I watched a YouTube video once about like how perfect of the beginning this is, and this is like for a writing. So I'm very interested in like writing, and this is a writing channel who kind of just they analyzed how perfect the first episode was because it showcased Sokka being a sexist individual who's all about like masculinity. We have Katara slowly practicing her bending. You see her maternal, like it's showing you who the characters are at this moment, setting them up, and then pushing them forward. And it's really interesting because another show that I think about this is the Clone Wars. Ahsoka. Ahsoka is a very annoying individual. The first movie, in the first couple episodes, but she becomes one of these big fan favorites because of her arc, her growth, her becoming this more bearable character who learns over time, which is what Sokka, Katara, and even Aang does in the show, which is why Netflix is very like. It's sad when we hear that their arcs are gone because it's like, no, this is like what moves forward. This is excellent writing that I think we're all kind of afraid is being replaced by mediocre writing.
Yep. Just generic, safe stuff all the time.
And I'm just realizing the connection of Dave Filoni is the one who directed both those episodes. All right. My other question is, does the Water Tribe seems small? It seems very, very small.
The Southern Water Tribe, yeah.
Yeah, the Southern Water
I mean, it doesn't seem like very many people, but they don't. All the guys are at the war, aren't they?
Yeah,
still seems pretty small.
People,
they're missing half the people, but there really isn't that many people.
Or they're dead.
Yeah, they did mention at the end too, like the Northern Water Tribe was sending a bunch of people to the Southern Water Tribe to help them replenish their numbers and stuff like that. So they do mention the fact that they are down in people and stuff like that.
I just think of Korra, how like it's like this major city, and now like it's so different. Like I remember when this was a small village, but now this is like a giant ass city.
I thought we weren't talking about Korra.
I know.
And just he goes there right off the bat. Just takes the rip.
Episode 1.
But yeah, this is the first great episode.
Just a subtle nod of how Korra wrecked Avatar.
we get Zoku, we get a little bit of Iroh, we get their characters. I feel like just a classic like start. Nothing really to talk about other than like it's just
introduces
really
everybody.
Writing.
Yeah.
Nothing really happens in the first episode.
Yeah, not really. You just get to see the people are. Yeah, you usually get to see the people. You don't really get to see details of anything, any arc building or anything that. You just get to meet everybody.
All right. The next episode after that was the Southern Air Temple. This is again genocide in episode 3.
And so sad.
Aang visits home. He's excited, but realizes like this is him realizing that his people's gone. He's alone. He's the last Airbender.
That's the name of the show.
he said the thing. He said the thing. They should have said it in the show. But yeah, it was like just sad because we get to see the memories, we get to see him growing up. This is another lore building episode that's really important, but also like the episode doesn't do a whole lot except for just establishing the lore. But also it just shows the focus of like we get a genocide episode 3. We don't see it, but we hear about it. We see the impact, the consequence,
and we kind of understand. Is this when we get the flashback of like what happened where Aang was when he froze and stuff like that?
Nope, that's
later on. Okay.
But we get to meet Momo.
Momo,
and he gets open at the door, and I think there was like a corpse in this one too, like a dead like skeleton, which really put the whole like they're dead. Everyone you know is like dead.
As a kid, you're watching it too. Like it doesn't resonate as a. That's what I'm saying. The show is so good of the adult like recognition of what actually happens versus a kid, and you're watching it. You don't pick up on that, but it's an adult. You're like, oh gosh.
It's very like Adventure Time, where it's like hey, dystopian future where there's like this horrific whole lore and past, but the kid version is like so focused on like the fun aspects of it, which is like where the show is. We're so focused on Aang having fun as kids. That's what we look at. But as adults, we're like, oh shit, this show is
sad,
dark and deep.
Yeah.
All right. Then we get two. After that, we get 2 episodes that are, I think, one of the most memorable episodes of at least book 1, if not the series. And that is the Kyoshi Warriors episode and the King of Bumashu. And my first question is, what is more memorable? Okay, Kyoshi Warriors or King of Bumashu?
The king is what is his name?
Boomy.
Yeah, I knew it was a B. Yeah.
How could you forget about Boomy?
Yeah, that part is satisfying when he realizes that somebody he does know is still alive.
Boomy's so old.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, he's like gotta be 110, right?
Which one's most memorable?
Yeah, what's the most like memorable one? What's the most iconic? Or
I mean,
the only reason why I say the Boomy one is because that's the first time we get to see cabbage.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So my cabbage. Yeah. So that's where it kicks off.
Twice in the Netflix show. Huh? If they don't do it at least twice in the Netflix show.
Show's trash. Yeah. Show's trash.
Yeah.
So it could be like the biggest, like, if they don't have
the cabbage man,
at least twice. If they did
once
it once,
is not enough.
If they did it once and that was it, I'd be like,
no.
You didn't do it justice, but at least you did it.
No.
But if they didn't do it at all, I'd be like, all right, yeah, fuck this show.
I'd almost rather them not do it at all than
I feel like I remember more details of the Boomy than I would have Kyoshi. Kyoshi was it was a decent episode, but there's not as much details to remember other than just remember the kind of the Kyoshi Warriors.
Yeah,
like if you're thinking back on it.
Them, and I can think about that, but I just watched that episode a couple days ago and I can't remember what actually happened.
Well,
but with the Boomy episode, you know the whole thing,
you want
right?
to go to a giant koi fish. That's what he wanted to do. I want to ride the giant koi fish, and then he has the bigger fish that try and eat the koi fish. They meet the Kyoshi Warriors. Sokka learns about sexism and why it's bad. Literally episode 4. So like the whole he's sexist. It's like he's sexist for like 4 episodes.
Yeah.
And then he's like
question it for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
He starts to question it after that. He's like, wait a minute. Yeah.
This is where he meets Suki. This is where like the first time like Aang and the gang kind of learned that like, hey, like
there's resistance.
Like my actions matter because like the fact that I decided to stay here and get like crushed on by all these girls, he's soaking up all the attention. I will say the Katara Aang jealousy line was kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
Like guys, it's 4 episodes. Like they're kids. Like
I didn't forget about that.
It kind of makes sense though for some of those adult.
But like that was like his first arc. Like, hey, I can't just stay here and soak up. Like I have a job to do, and if I stay here, people can get bored. Also, don't play too much with the court, man. I want to hear what you got to say.
Don't tell me what to do.
Yeah, don't tell them what to do.
Just saying, this is how it. At least I can see the light.
Yeah. See, we're good.
But yeah, Boomy episode I think is more memorable just from an overall standpoint. As far as for total story, I think Yoshi's a great total story like lore build episode. But I definitely remember the Boomy episode.
The 3 challenges too.
Yeah, the 3 challenges. Remember like everything from the episode. I don't know why, but I definitely do. Yeah.
You can't just go up the ladder. You have to figure out a different way to get the key. You can't. Forget the dog or the pet's name. It's not the little thing. It's the giant guy. And then you just, instead of fighting it, you just be nice and boom.
Yep.
And then like
the lessons learned in that one.
Like, you can fight anyone. And he's like,
you. Yep.
So I like how he figured it out at the end. Too. He's like, you're Boomy. You're my friend. Yeah, I feel like the Amashu episode is one of my favorites. But I do think Boomy is also huge. The next one after that is the Imprisoned episode, which the only thing I really remember about, I did just watch it. The Fire Nation took anybody who was a bender on the coast of the Earth Kingdom and basically imprisoned them, which is essentially like genocide. It's
concentration camp, really.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
They put them on ships where they couldn't use their earthbending.
Episode 6, I'm like, holy shit, we're 6 episodes in a kid's show, and we're dealing with a prison break, concentration camps. And I'm like, I kind of almost didn't believe it at first. So I'm like, this is like a huge, big event in this giant war that these kids did. just out of like with like no training. It's almost kind of.
I mean, it was really all like Katara.
Yeah.
That rescues them just by. I mean, they rescue themselves, but she gives them the courage and the.
Gives them the strength. Yeah.
To,
basically, like you need to do something.
Yeah, you can't just sit here.
Can't just sit there. Yeah.
You gotta fight back.
But yeah, from a standpoint too, like I think that's what makes it so good. The way it interacts between an adult mind and a kid mind, you can see it all now, and that's what even makes it even more powerful and impactful to me. You get to see the total world. And you're like, wow, they really did a show that impacts kids, impacts adults. And watching it, you're always learning a lesson of some sort. That's a simple message, really. At the end of the day, every episode. We're gonna say this a lot of times throughout Avatar, but gosh, this is
After that, we get our first big event, and that's the winter solstice. It's the first like spirit episode, spirit world.
Spirit world. Yep.
Hebe is doing the village, and I will say when I rewatched this is the one I kind of fell asleep in. This is like the episode I never really cared for growing up. Not that I didn't like it. I'm very aware of how important it is setting up the spirit world, setting up Roku. But it was never one that stuck in my head. And I still, to this day, I'm like, I don't remember quite what happened in this episode. It's also just one of my, not like my favorites. Do you guys feel the way about the winter solstice, or?
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way at the beginning.
That's the one where he's in, like, meditating the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The spirit world for the first time.
Yeah.
You'd see what that's like and stuff. Yeah, it's not the most memorable episode, I'd say, out of all of them, for sure. Like,
definitely important. And then after that, he has to go to one of the fire islands.
Yeah, because he tells him to go because of the spirit world. Like, you need to go to this island.
And then finds out the people who were once all about the Avatar Roku, is against him. And a weird like sense of betrayal.
Yep.
And it kind of just like shows that like, man, the world really has lost their way. They're not about the Avatar. They're all about like each other.
Just genocide. I mean,
power.
Nation,
it's all about power.
Rule the whole world.
Rule.
Yeah, no other benders, no other.
Yeah, exactly.
Fire Nation people.
And then we get some filler episodes. I believe we get the Water Scroll and the Great Divide. And I believe in between that, there's the infamous episode. But I want to talk about these two because they're kind of smaller filler episodes. Waterbending Scroll was huge because it's the first time that like Katara gets to really show her strength as a waterbender. And you get to see Aang learn waterbending for like the first time ever. And it was a really cool divide between, or cool focus on both of them, because like Katara's like learning, she's reading it, she's practicing, and Aang's just like naturally gifted at it.
Yep, he can just do it. Making Katara all mad. Yeah. That episode too. Man, it's so good.
And
so
then
good.
The great divide between two tribes that have to go through the canyon. They're like, Alpha, skip this one, we'll walk. And they have to like divide. And I thought it was really cool, just like, I always like this episode because it's filler, but it shows a good purpose, that you have two tribes, Katara, Sokka, they both split off, and they both like fight in between each other. And I think it's just a really cool episode, just to really show that like, both sides are in the wrong, but both sides are also in the right. Like neither of them are perfect. They from their perspective, they're the heroes.
Yep, I love that episode. Now I think about it, now, my memories.
And then I
go either way.
Yeah.
Aang's like, oh yeah, I remember this person. They were just playing a game, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it just solves all their whole problem.
And they're like, oh, and then they're better. And they ask him, is that story true? And he's like, nah, I just made it up.
Yep.
Like,
yeah.
They didn't go like, oh yeah, I know all these important people in the past, and I can solve everybody's problems. So I know about these people, and it's like, yeah, no.
I just, just saw their difference was, what was it? Not worth fighting or something like that. Whatever he says, he made it up.
Heroes, and like one tribe stole the ball from another tribe, but.
Yeah, Aang comes up and he's like, yeah.
They were just playing a game,
I don't know how I feel about it. So like, I would really like the fact that he just knew and he like solved the issue. But I also kind of like this, like, it's all about this story that no one really knows what happens. So it's like, what's the point of fighting over it? Especially when someone can come up and be like, yeah, I'm going to make up another story. And
yeah, exactly. What are you guys even fighting over in the first place? Really, what Aang was like? Like, you're fighting over a ball.
I feel like they
come
do
on.
This in book 3 too. Where they have to spend time in the Fire Nation. and like they get to learn about the Fire Nation and learn that like, hey, this isn't a nation of monsters. This is just a nation of people who have monster rulers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the oppression.
Exactly. All right.
I hate to do this, but I really have to pee.
Break time?
Break time.
Sponsored by whoever crones. I don't know.
Sponsored by Water on the Floor. Hey, Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
We are now officially on break. Oh boy. Nice.
Avatar, so good.
All right, starting.
And
All right, we're back. I spelled T. This episode might be cursed. I don't know.
And I found a new toy that's super fun. Over that entire break time.
The Burger King Chicken Toy.
Yeah.
Whoa! Can you see it? Probably not.
Probably not.
It's spinning.
We tried.
Nope.
Barely. It's like in the corner here.
Just pay attention to it. It's cool. You're going to want one after this show.
Yeah.
Sponsored by Old Burger King Toys.
We're just a bunch of squirrels.
They don't make them like they used to.
All right, this one's like.
All right, where were we?
Jet.
Oh, yeah.
Jet, that's who everybody says I am. I don't know why.
Jet?
Yeah.
You're Jet?
A couple of my buddies, that's what they say.
You'd be Jet of the
They said Jet, and I said, I'll take it. Jet's one of the coolest characters.
Jet's pretty cool.
Hook swords are dope. I will
Hook
say
swords
that.
are pretty dope.
More people should use them.
Are they like practical?
No, but think about getting. I was thinking about this. Think about getting tripped with a hook sword. Like somebody grabs you by the leg and trips you. Like if it doesn't cut your foot off, it's gonna like drag your whole heel off.
Yeah, I mean that would hurt.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess there's some usage. And you can like slide down some metal wires.
Yeah.
True story.
But yeah, what do you think about this episode? I feel like this is like the first episode that everyone's just like.
Yeah, he tries to commit a genocide
on
a town.
This is like the episode I wish like a lot of people would like watch and understand when it comes to like other real world stuff, especially with this whole Palestinian like Israel. I'm not gonna get too political with it, but like Jet is essentially the Hamas at this point. Like they're essentially like this rebellion. They respond with violence. This is how rebellions.
Yep.
This is Andor. Like
violence responding with violence.
And like this is like the first episode. It's like, is this worth it?
Yeah. Is it right?
No, should we kill innocents even though they're Fire Nation civilians? And it's like
nope, probably not. Yeah.
And I like how this like they slowly turn. Like Katara's all about it. She's infatuated. She's into Jet, not just romantically, but just as a person because he's very charismatic. He has a lot of followers.
Yep.
And like I just really like this episode because I think Sokka was the first one. I was like, yeah, this guy isn't great.
Yeah, and sees him beat up that old man from the Fire Nation. Yeah,
and Sokka was just. This is I feel like Sokka's first like severe like mature episode. Like he is like their mature leader, ironically enough. And he's the one who like makes a stand against them. And Aang eventually follows along, and Katara eventually sees that
maybe this isn't the way.
This isn't the way. But yeah, I really like this episode. I don't know. There isn't much to say about it. I feel like you could make an episode diving into this whole episode.
Yeah, getting deep into it. Yeah.
I think this episode just goes to show like what Avatar is best at. It can do these like complex storylines and stuff like that, but in a short like 20-minute episode, just hitting those points and stuff like that, where there's not like a lot of extra fluff to like talk about and stuff like that, but they really get the point across.
Exactly. And it doesn't feel like a 20-minute episode. This feels like this episode was like multiple episodes long.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that all of this stuff like only happens in one 20-minute episode.
Yeah,
that's just completed stories. So, like especially compared to One Piece, and you think about like, oh, this could be like 10 episodes.
This could be a whole season or multiple seasons.
Yeah, it's a whole arc. Yeah,
Marine 4, it's like 50,
150 episodes long.
Is it 150?
Yeah, the whole arc is. Yeah, if you count the beginning part, because like Impel Down and stuff is part of the Marine 4
arc. Right.
So if you count all that beginning stuff and everything, then yeah, it is.
Or like you literally like 1 minute is like one episode long.
Yep. Yeah.
Like that, no, we're not getting
it. I'm just thinking about your meme you posted right now again. No, yeah, One Piece in Avatar. I was like, dang it.
They are similar in the aspects of like, it's like a grand adventure kind of thing.
Yeah.
Going, it's one person kind of going against the whole world in that same sense.
They are
One Piece is definitely much more drug out, but I mean, it's a similar kind of idea. There's a world government that's corrupt and controlling and destroying things.
Corrupt world government.
Oh, a ton, yeah. And so it's very similar in that aspect, but Avatar is much more concise and to the point.
Yeah, but that episode was great.
Oh yeah.
First time we met Jet.
All right. The Storm. Next episode we're going to talk about. You already mentioned the Storm because you talked about the lore of why Aang ran.
Oh yeah.
And this is a bottleneck episode because there's a great storm, they're stuck, and they have to tell stories. So Aang tells Katara why he ran, why he's not this great hero everybody thinks he is. Mm-hmm. And Iroh tells some of the Fire Nation soldiers why Zuko does what he does.
Oh yeah.
And then, I feel like this episode is a bottleneck. It's very much like once you know the lore, this episode is not that great.
Yep.
I think it's just called a bottle episode. I think it's just called a bottle episode, not a bottleneck.
Bottle episode, yeah.
Bottle episode. Anyway, bottle episode. Bottleneck episode?
Yep. Yeah. Bottleneck episode? Yeah.
Bottleneck makes it seem like it's like...
It silos it in to the point. This is like just a bottle.
Yeah.
Doesn't get out.
In one place.
Bottle episode. Yeah, some great lore, some great history. Aang is running away from his essentially history.
Yeah, it really puts things into perspective when you realize exactly what Aang was doing and like his mind state right before he got frozen. Because this is literally like 2 minutes, a couple days after that to him. And this is still very real and like in his mind. Exactly.
And I like Katara at the end. It's like, if you would have stayed, you would have died. Mm-hmm. You would have been murdered. Like, you weren't ready for this challenge. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like even though the world had to suffer for 100 years,
it might have been the only way.
Yeah, it was in a way a blessing too. And then we get Zuko's story where we learned that Zuko has a heart. Mm-hmm. He didn't like the strategy, like, hey, sacrifice this army to get a better advantage, which Game of Thrones Robb Stark did.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That whole tactic, and he's like, no, these soldiers, they're
people.
They're people. Yeah. They honor us. Like, we should not do this to him.
Yeah, just send him out to die.
He has morals. He has a heart, and then he gets called out on. Mm-hmm. And instead of fighting, is it Zhao or is it like a different?
I think it was just a random general or something.
Yeah, just a general.
He has to fight his father, and his father just essentially defeats him easily.
Gives him the scar.
Gives him the infamous scar, and then he has to go.
Exiles him
until he finds the Avatar, and we learn like, oh, he's not desperate because he's actually a really good character. Essentially
the foundation for his arc, his redemption arc.
Yep,
it's the foundation of him as a person, the arc that's up ahead, the redemption. And I don't know, it was just a really cool episode for like the war itself.
I feel like this is a good point to mention that Uncle Iroh is the best character in the show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is a good one to mention.
Uncle Iroh does not...
That's why we have the tea.
He is my spirit animal.
So, I'm gonna dip it a little bit. When I watched this with my stepson Scott. And I turned to him when we watched this. Because this is when Iroh first appears. And I paused it, and I turned to him. I'm like, son, if you learn anything from the show, one thing at all, be Uncle Iroh. Mm-hmm. Uncle Iroh, learn how to be a man through him, because he is probably like the greatest male role model figure to have, because he is strong, he's a man,
very wise,
but he's also a man who's made a lot of mistakes, and he's a man who
admits to his mistakes, learns from his mistakes. Yep,
he's accountable. He gets disappointed by the people around him, but he doesn't let that affect him.
Yep.
He still treats everybody with respect. He'd rather look his enemy in the face, make him some tea, and pour that tea and talk about like what's going on, rather than fight. But he will whip the shit out of you.
He is a badass.
Yep.
He takes out Zhao like no problem. All of them.
Dude, when he gets ripped in book 3, oh my god.
Oh yeah,
Ripped Iroh is
love it.
but yeah. I wrote in here, it's like, so Zuko's dad's a total cunt, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Wow.
I mean, basically Hitler, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, Hitler, Palpatine, anyone who's like power.
Yeah. Well, just
I mean, you exile your son because you beat the shit out of your son. You're like,
yeah.
you man.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like when he exiled him, he never thought there was a chance that he would find the Avatar.
Oh,
he
yeah.
sent him on a journey that was
supposedly
impossible.
non-existent.
Yeah, just to get rid of him.
Then he found him. That's the funniest part.
Yeah.
And
he's still not redeemed after he finds him. That's the best part after that.
When we talk about book 2, it goes further in the story.
Yeah.
All right, we gotta move on now. Next episode after that is the Blue Spirit.
Yes.
This is an epic episode, right?
Yeah.
This is like one of the best.
Yeah.
We'll talk about best episodes, but man, I just like the whole start was Sokka has a fever. He's acting he's acting like he took some mushrooms.
Yep.
And like the only answer is frozen frogs. So Aang has to go get frozen frogs, but he happens to get captured.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Blue Spirit releases him. And I think everyone knew who it was. I didn't know who it was when I was a kid. But rewatching it, I'm like...
Well, they do like show it at the end of the episode, too.
Yeah.
They reveal it by... You can see a scar under the mask.
Mm-hmm. But I love this episode. Just the complex nature. It shows Zuko's...
Desperation,
his colors, how he feels.
Yep.
And like...
I also love to go against the Fire Nation.
Yeah.
Accomplish his goal.
And this is like the first like Zhao like moment where he's like this big, huge enemy, and he's like doing like victory speech. Like they won.
Mm-hmm.
And
they captured him.
If it wasn't for Zuko, this story's over.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Just kind of goes.
There's so many good things about that, and
Zuko's sword fighting ability.
Yeah, foreshadowing the future.
I love that Aang actually knows as Zuko too.
By the end too, yeah. I appreciated that instead of it just being like a mystery and him like, finding out later on, like knowing that I was just saved by the person that I think is like my greatest enemy.
And then Zuko went to attack him right afterwards too. It's like I love just the complexity of it.
And he ends up saving Zuko too.
Yep.
After he gets domed with the arrow when he's trying to get away, and then he's like, "Well, I can't leave him here after he just saved me."
Yeah. And I'm getting chills because I just love that moment.
That episode, the whole episode is fantastic. There's nothing wrong.
I'm awesome.
It's a gorgeous one.
Netflix show like delivers on this, and it looks like it looks fabulous from the trailer that I saw. Because like this episode is just one of those like.
It was a whoa moment. Is it not really a whoa moment because you had the episode before that hinted at it. In this episode, we kind of just actually got to see it come to life in such a beautiful fashion. As a kid, though, still you don't remember episode to episode, so you're still epic. But even as an adult, I still watch it, and I'm still like,
these two.
That's gorgeous.
These 2 episodes really show who Zuko is and show how amazing of a character he is.
Mm-hmm.
Like these were the Zuko episodes.
Mm-hmm. I mean, even his storyline at the end, like the Northern Water Tribe and stuff, him trying to. Steal Aang before the rest of the Fire Nation can, go against his own people.
I was thinking that. I was trying to hold off on it.
Yeah.
We're getting to it.
Wait for there.
Unfocused guest jumping ahead of time.
He went to book 3. That's cheating.
That's right. That's
book 1.
Book 1. And
book 1.
I know, but you're jumping ahead. We're talking about it. It's all right. Anything else more about Blue Spirit? This is another episode. I feel like we could really dive into it and talk scene by scene if we really wanted to. But like as a whole, it's just
we could spend more time talking about that episode and how long the episode was. That's the funniest thing.
Also, Zuko is just like amazing with swords. Other than the fact that he didn't use his firebending.
Yeah,
they didn't talk about it either.
He just because if he would have used his firebending, they would have known that he was a firebender.
Yeah. Manual combat.
Problem. Yeah.
Keep it hidden a little bit till the end of the end of the show too. You realize,
Although I do think that Zhao might know, but he seems to know after he sees the broadswords on his wall. And he's like, "Oh,
that's an idea."
I didn't know you could fight with swords. He's like, "Oh, they're just decorative."
Yeah,
I think he knows.
He knows. All right, next episode is the fortune teller episode, and I don't have much to say other than like this is a great just filler episode. This is like probably like the true filler episode that I don't really feel like there's much to it.
Yeah, and they saved the village
from
the volcano.
I just like how everyone believes the fortune teller, and it's like, oh, no volcano. It's like, no, actual evidence.
Yeah, no, she didn't say that there was no volcano. She said that they would be fine and that they wouldn't die from it.
Well,
she was right because the Avatar saved them. So just saying, but
she wasn't wrong.
Yeah,
I just point that out.
Well, I think like the thing is like, yeah, but like, sure, she was right, but like, it wasn't because of divine intervention. It was.
But I mean, is that not divine intervention though? When the Avatar comes and saves you?
Yeah, I guess.
That's why I like that episode just a little bit. It's a mind bending flex. So was she wrong? Was she right? Just think about that morally.
She wasn't worried about it because she knew that he was going to take care of it.
Yeah. Timing, it's just like, ooh, Katara, and like he has like some other people interested. But he's like, ooh, Katara, maybe she'll like me. It's like, dude, you're the fucking Avatar. You don't have to try hard.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
Just have to exist.
Yeah. Like, yeah. All right, the next one, the backstory of Beto.
Oh yeah,
the Beto episode. I forget what it's actually called. Let me look it up real quick.
That's
Beto of the Water Tribe. They meet at at an abbey, and then they essentially reunite, and we get the first one of the villains named June with the ant eater.
Is that her name?
June, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember what her name was.
I feel like this was like one of the...
And chasing down the Avatar and smelling it, yep.
Yeah. Also, like, it's like it's filler, but also kind of like good backstory with the Water Tribe. And I thought that was kind of good to flesh out the Water Tribe a little bit more. Be like, oh, there are other people that live here. It's not just a small tribe. There's a pretty massive force, but they're just all fighting the Fire Nation.
Yep.
Also, that villain is so useful.
Yeah.
I can just smell where you are, and we'll just catch up a couple episodes later.
From a continent away, is what she says.
Yeah.
That's wild.
That is crazy. Mm-hmm. Anyone else have to say about the Beto of the Water Tribe? I feel like this is another...
This is also one where Aang lies and tries to... or hides the plans and stuff.
Oh, right.
Because they want to go... He thinks they're going to leave him and go see their father.
Yeah.
So he has the plans. Yeah.
That's kind of where he questions their loyalty to this whole thing.
They were never actually going to go. It's kind of like... shows like he's still a kid and kind of selfish.
He's insecure. He doesn't know, like, oh, they're... like, these are my friends, but, like, they also have families. I like that.
I don't have anything. I don't want to lose you kind of thing.
Yeah. It just goes to show that, he is still a kid and, is still trying to figure things out. And by the end, he does fess up to it, and they end up going out together still. But
the next episode, The Deserter, is low-key one of my favorite episodes of this season, this book.
This is the one with the Firebender, right?
Yeah, the Firebending master, Zhong, he deserted the Fire Nation, and Aang seeks him out and finds him. And he is very thrilled to learn Firebending. And Zhong is just like, no. You're not going to
learn the other ones first.
You gotta take your time. And we very much see why. And we talk about how he had one master and like he was really powerful, but like out of control. Student. I feel this way with my son sometimes. With like, I've been starting to teach him how to use the swords, the foam swords, because he'll like fight and he'll just fling all like his swords all over the place. Like last time, I kind of like let him do it just willy nilly. He ended up smacking Maven a couple times in the face.
Oh no!
She's fine. She had a sword too. She was laughing, but like he was just like, and I'm like, all right, no, we're doing one sword at a time. We're practicing these movements. You're gonna control. I'm not a sword master at all, but I know.
A little bit.
But I felt this way, and I honestly, I thought of Zhong when I was teaching how to do swords. So I'm like, this is fire is such a power. It's such a if you don't have responsibility, you're not careful with it, you can destroy a lot of shit. And that's just what I was trying to teach my son. And so I really respected this episode.
Yeah, very interesting. The way he breaks it down and stuff and explains how fire is different from the other elements and stuff. How, like, unlike the other benders and stuff, they create fire. It's not like the water benders that have to use water that's already there and stuff like that, which means that it can go out of control. And if you don't keep it enchanting. You can just
Yeah.
burn
Yep.
down everything on accident.
Fire can only destroy. Everything else can create. Fire can destroy. And it's so different than air. And I think as a kid, this is one I didn't really pay attention to because there wasn't a whole lot going on.
Yeah, well, I wanted to learn how to firebend because I thought it was cool.
But like,
yeah, exactly. That's what you want to know as a kid. Like, oh, he's gonna do it. Sweet.
Yeah.
that's about it. But like as a like an adult, as a father, it's like no, this episode breaks on the lore.
Very well done.
And then he beats Zhao by using what he learned.
Yeah,
by getting him to burn down all his own ships and everything.
Yep.
It was smart.
Doesn't throw a single punch, and he's like, "Well, you've
fucking
already
good, right?
Yeah, you've already been defeated."
We bring up One Piece a lot. The one thing I love about One Piece is that there's always stronger characters, but it's not just getting stronger to beat the villain. It's being creative and figuring out with the skill set that you have, how can I overpower this
Overcome this obstacle,
or
yeah.
trick, or overcome the obstacle. And that takes brilliant writing. And Avatar
does it so well. Over and over again, too.
Even beating the anteater thing or whatever, using all the perfume and stuff like that in order to throw it off. I mean, like, it's smart.
Nice callback. Moving on. We have 4 more episodes left.
Can we mention when John is denying him to train him or whatever, and then what's his name? The firebender airbender, or the firebender avatar.
Roku, yep.
Yeah, he appears. It's like, no, you're gonna teach him.
Yeah.
He's just like, no, you don't have a choice. Yeah, that's cool.
I like it. I honestly think Roku was wrong here.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, and John was definitely right. He wasn't ready.
You're not ready. And then in book 3, we get more into it. But I do like that they're like, yep, no, we're gonna do fire now, and we're talk why we're not gonna do it now.
I like how they kind of like tease all of these different like teachers that are going to be the ones that teach him how to do the bending and stuff, but none of them are actually the ones that you think they are.
Yeah.
Yep.
2 episodes, we'll talk about another one. The Northern Air Temple. We go to another air temple. It's not abandoned. There are people flying in the air. Man gets excited, but he learns that they're not flying; they're gliding. And we learn about these kids with a father figure.
I assume they were some sort of Earth tribe by their clothing.
Yeah.
And brown and stuff.
And then over the course of the episode, very nice people, very nice with all these inventions. This guy's an inventor. The son can't walk, so he has to fly everywhere, and it's a really cool story. But then we learn that he's building weapons for the Fire Nation, and then they come to collect. And this is like our first like battle scene, like
with the actual Fire Nation army,
and just like the way they like creatively like beat the army because they have the high ground. They're Obi-Wan.
Yep.
I just thought it was an interesting episode. Not much.
Yeah, but they beat the army, but they lose anyways because they end up giving them exactly what they wanted,
which is the airships that we get to see later.
Yep. Oh yeah, they come back. So. It was a victory, but not really.
I still like this episode because as an adult, you look at this episode too. It's the same way. You meet some people that are very nice and stuff, and then sometimes you realize, even in your own life, those kind of people that are like, "Whoa, okay."
Yeah, but it's not even necessarily that he's a bad guy or anything.
Yeah,
he's doing it
to make a living for his family.
Yeah, well, and to survive, because if he didn't do it, then they were going to kill him.
So you take it with the grain of like, I get it, kind of thing. It's a weird mind flex as an adult, and you're like, yeah, okay.
What choice do you have? Yeah, exactly. What choice do you have in that situation as him? Without having the avatar,
just trying to care for his kids.
Fight back. Yeah,
It's what I love because
survive.
We're mentioning on One Piece, but I also feel like Star Wars is a good comparison because Star Wars, at least base Star Wars, is good guy, bad guy, right?
Yep.
Light side, dark side, Sith, rebels. It's very like black and white. One Piece is very much not that way.
Yeah.
And I think like Avatar is one of those shows that just like it's not black and white. Like yes, Fire Nation bad, but it's like everybody who helps the Fire Nation outside maybe like the top generals, they're not bad.
Yeah, they're doing it because they're forced to.
Yeah, it's all about
out of oppression or something like that. They're doing it from them that way. You get that feeling too from it. That's what I'm saying. You get a different feeling for these people. You feel for them, then you're like, oh,
it's crazy. All right.
That's what makes it such a great kid show.
An adult show. Yeah.
Last 3 episodes, we get to the Northern Water Tribe.
Mm-hmm.
First one is the waterbending master, Paku. We learn Sokka spends some time with Yao. You? Is it Yao or you?
You. I think, yeah.
You, yeah.
You.
And Admiral Zhao hires pirates to assassinate Zuko.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought
this
this
was
episode...
after he saw the swords.
Yeah.
And kind of made the connection and figured out that he was a blue spirit. So that kind of confirms that, yeah, he does know.
This was a great episode because one, it shows Paku as this waterbending master, and Aang's like, yeah, I'm gonna learn from him. Katara, you're great at waterbending, and it's like, nope, sexism.
Yeah, immediately. Nope.
We do not train women. You can go be a healer.
Mm-hmm.
And like, are they gonna? Is Netflix gonna not show the storyline?
Right? Is it just Is it just gonna skip all this? Because I mean, like the whole thing is him realizing, with the love that he lost. That.
I love that too.
Yeah, the reason why he lost his love was because of these same things. Yeah. These same thoughts and stuff like that. So.
And he kind of learned. These are individuals who made him rethink everything.
Even at his old age.
I also love that he's just like, that's my necklace. She's like, no, it's mine. Like, no, I made that. It's my grandma's. And you're like, oh.
Yep.
Moment. The B story with Zuko and Zhao is pretty good too. Mm-hmm. It just shows that Zuko is his goal is in Fire Nation.
Yeah, exactly. He's got his own drive and his own goals that are separate from the Fire Nation.
And Zhao is such an interesting character too because he's not necessarily about the Fire Nation. He's just about gaining power.
Yeah. Being in charge. Yeah, the glory of it all.
Oh, the Blue Spirit episode where he's just like, all right, write down my speech. Everyone's going to know about the day of Admiral Zhao.
Yeah. Just wants his name in history.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right, let's get to the big finale. The Siege of the North, Part 1. Part 2. Part 2, directed by Dave Filoni. There are some great moments. This is the first... I keep saying first, great. This is the big event.
Yeah, this is the big battle. They're actually trying here.
There's so many cool things here. The day, the night cycle, the moon spirit origin, the fact that
mentioning how bending comes from these spirits and stuff like that.
Yep.
Kind of tying in with the meteor and stuff like that, or the comet that gives them their superpowers.
Zhao and Iroh connection. Iroh's been there before with Bossing Se and the failure of Bossing Se, and he's
hear the hints of what that storyline is. I don't remember exactly, but I know
Zhao being overzealous and trying to attack. You have Zuko doing his own thing, trying to get the Avatar
sneaking out of the ship. Yeah, after he thinks he's dead.
Mm-hmm. You have Aang. He's training with Paku. You have Sokka. He's part of the army now. He's giving hints, and the leader of the army, who happens to be the fiance to you. He's very much just this is how we're gonna do things. And Sokka, you start to see Sokka. You start to see the amazing power of all these characters. You get to see Sokka as military mind. You get to see Katara's waterbending strength. You get to see Aang. Aang doesn't show up until the end, the very end.
Yeah.
You don't see his full strength. But this is where everything just culminates together in this major, awesome battle scene. Mm-hmm. What would you think of Zhao killing the moon?
Wild. Still surprises me that it actually happens.
It's crazy the fact one, it's a spirit, and two, it's you're literally gonna fuck everybody.
Yep. Oh yeah. This is
for glory?
World changing. Yeah.
Yep.
That's not believable whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's not like we would have a leader that would do that.
Right?
Never.
Please go vote for the 2024 election. Or don't. I don't. But yeah, I thought it was crazy too as a kid. I'm you're gonna blow up you're gonna kill the moon? We need that.
Yeah, strong statement, but yeah, I mean that's what makes it so good.
Was, right afterwards too.
It turned into a blood moon when he pulled the koi out, and then once he actually killed it, everything just went dark. It's the moon disappeared.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was crazy.
Mhm.
All right, I list a bunch of things, other parts of this episode that you thought were just amazing.
I mean, him going into the spirit world and meeting like the dude that steals faces and stuff
Oh,
like that.
yep,
that
I
was
forgot
cool.
about that
Yeah,
part.
that was
No.
interesting.
No emotions.
Yeah,
too.
don't show any emotion, otherwise you'll steal your face.
Yeah, my
Cope,
face would have
that's
been
his name.
stolen.
Yeah, oh yeah. Especially like that creepy centipede thing popping up in my face and stuff. Yeah, I can't say that I wouldn't have a reaction. But good for Aang.
Dude, my like working in behavior where they teach you not to react, I still probably would react at some point.
Yeah. Well, that was the airbending control, though. I mean, that's what Aang
yeah.
started with, was all that control.
Adaptation and
So
stuff,
you got to
yeah,
think
yeah.
Aang had a wealth of preparation. I guess that's what they start with their whole life with. So it made sense that Aang was able to tap in. It really showed his airbending skills and knowledge. That's kind of what I enjoyed about that moment.
Stealing him at the end, using Katara too to do it.
Yep.
And then realizing that like I'm gonna die, and for what? Like I don't want to kill the Avatar. I want to get my glory back. And then Aang just being like, yeah, we're not killing him.
Yeah, we're not gonna leave him here. He'll die.
Yeah. And then the big final ending, which at the time when this first came out, it almost came out as unbelievable, but now experiencing all of Avatar, the fact that he turned into a giant spirit, because all the spirits were just like, yeah, we're fuck these guys, you killed our moon. That was like a huge moment in the show. He's just this giant spirit and just literally defeats the army himself.
Yeah.
Wipes them all out. Yeah.
Do you think we get that Netflix moment?
I don't know.
That'd be.
They also talked about how his
Avatar state stuff.
Yeah, it's gonna be different.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't think.
I could see them changing it and doing something less
something
spectacular.
Yeah, not as big as that was in the anime.
But it still was. And I mean, even just like the Northern Water Tribe, like when they're entering and stuff like that, and like they're lowering all the walls and like doing the dams and stuff like that to let them in, like, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see how Netflix handles like such a big scale like city and kind of how moving and
I'm not worried about that part from what I've seen.
Yeah.
It's the writing.
Yeah. That is the scariest part.
Yeah.
All right.
Character development matters.
Sokka's girlfriend becomes the moon. That's the last thing that they mentioned.
Sacrifices herself.
Gives up herself to become the moon. Dad, who's sad, but is like, this is what I was told. Man, as someone who has a daughter, I don't know if I could give her up to be the moon. Like, that would be hard. Also, like, Sokka, too.
Yeah. Poor Sokka.
Yeah.
Like, any girl he gets with, instead of, like, they're like, I want to have sex over the moonlight. He's like, can we not?
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain this, but me and the moon used to be a thing.
Yeah.
Right.
We used to, we dated for a little bit.
So it's an interesting lore. Like, kill off a little girl, she becomes the moon. Like, as a kid, I didn't like understand what was going on.
Yeah.
Basically, sacrificed yourself to become the new spirit of the moon.
All right. Should we get into some of the fun stuff?
What's the fun stuff?
That wasn't fun? Excuse me?
What rating are we going to give this? Book 1 alone.
I don't think you could give it anything less than like a 4.5, probably.
We don't do halves here, Brandon. We only do
plus.
Yeah. Well, you know what I meant. 4 plus.
Donald?
It's hard to...
that's where I had it was a 4+2 as well.
Wow, we're 3 for 3, 4 plus.
It's hard to give something a 5.
It's hard to give something a 5 for one, but as far as like, it's a beginning story too. We're not talking like ending story, middle story. This is a lore building, and a lore building story is hard to get to a 5 just because there's the meat of everything's missing. We're just learning stuff we don't really know. So if you're thinking from a lore building standpoint, I'd give it a 5.
Oh yeah.
But a 4+ overall from a kind of a perspective, I guess if you look at it that way.
Definitely more excited about watching the next 2 books.
Yeah.
Same. That's when things
So a 4+ total, but a 5 for a lore build. Does that count? Does that count? A 5 for a lore build, a 4+ for an overall story and how it went?
I mean, I think 5 for the overall importance of this, like, to the whole series. Like, I gave it a 4+ because I'm like, it's not my favorite book, but it's vital, it's important, it does a lot of the work, but it's still an origin story. Origin stories are hard to start.
Exactly. It's an origin story. It's hard to even kick off as a 5 in general.
As an origin story, as a beginning, like, first season, I would give it a 5, but I think this is where it's like it's a 4+ how I feel about
It's
it.
hard. It's hard to give something a 5, like to look at it like as a standalone thing too.
Yeah.
Like if you take into consideration of the whole show, that's a different story. But if you're just like, oh, I'm only gonna watch this first season and never watch anything again, it's already
all right.
Different in isolation.
Brandon, I don't think we did this with the Batman. We didn't do MVPs, did we?
No, I don't think so.
Donald, we've done MVPs with Star Wars. And
we've done MVPs for a while.
MVPs.
Yeah, we got to do MVPs.
MVP of book 1. I have a list of 7 of them.
7? You go. You know how MVPs work?
Yeah.
You get 1.
Yeah.
You get 1.
I picked one.
You get 1.
But I made 7 because this is hard to do a whole like.
I feel like that's just like all of the characters.
It's like I chose every character.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tara, Sokka.
Well,
Zuko,
I made 7. I made a list.
Iroh.
MVP of book 1.
Book 1.
I'm curious for Brandon's choice here first before I say mine. Who is it?
I love
Iroh. Wow, that's not who I gave.
One?
That's not what I gave.
I know, but
Book 1
every season
MVP. A lot of people's not going to agree with my choice, but Zuko.
that was my second choice.
You have Zuko?
Zuko's my number 1.
Zuko is number 3 for me. I have a surprising 2.
Only because, like you said, if without him, story's over.
Yeah.
Zuko's a pretty.
Yeah, but without Iroh behind Zuko.
Yeah, there's true to the Iroh stuff, but
Brandon, we know
Zuko
Iroh's
would
great.
be-
Iroh is the
Follow
best,
Iroh.
but Iroh really didn't have so much of the story outlined, whereas Zuko was more involved in the main character. And Zuko added a lot to the Fire Nation and the backstory
He's a great.
to everything overall.
He's a good villain, anti-hero.
He's definitely an anti-hero. I mean,
Well,
Yep.
I know he is.
I mean, even in this series, he is. I mean, he's
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So you guys are Zuko over Aang?
Yep.
I had Aang number 1. I have Appa number 2.
I was going to say Appa number 2 was Appa was my number 2. You took
Appa?
Appa.
Appa.
Yep.
Yeah,
They didn't go
Appa-
anywhere without Appa.
Yeah, I mean, Appa like fighting
Appa
the
saved him a
Anteater,
lot of times too.
Fighting the Anteater and stuff like
Oh
that.
my gosh, there's so much that Appa did for him. That was my number 2. That's
Appa's
what I was
up
going to say.
there. Aang is. I feel like Aang's going to be like MVP consideration.
Aang was my 3rd.
Aang is just
I think Zuko actually fits more because I think this is the book that he fits. This is the book that accused the spirit. He saved him at the end. He had arguably the greatest arc of all the 4 characters.
The greatest driver to the story, because, I mean, that's what I think too. At the beginning, you think he is a villain that wants to capture the Avatar. It wasn't until a while later you get the different
I mean,
learned
feel.
motivations, yeah.
Yeah,
Still
it's
a
someone you
villain.
learn, but he's still a villain. He's just not as much, and you learn, well, eventually not becomes a villain. But yeah, that's why I like Zuko. He adds the most, I don't know, character fun to it, because we kind of knew Aang would be the Avatar. We knew kind of Katara's feel. We kind of got a feel for Sokka. Zuko is only still that mysterious
He was a wild card.
character. Yeah, we just don't. We still, I think, at the end of season 1, do you
And
really
Katara,
know?
Yeah, we don't really.
We don't.
Yeah. It shows signs of him, maybe changing or going against the grain, but it doesn't necessarily like show him fully turning on the Fire Nation or anything like that.
That's why I like him. He's a wild card that adds to the story, and he's there at the end.
Zuko
So
first, to Fire Nation second.
Yeah.
Which makes for an interesting villain. Anti-hero.
Yeah,
Anti-hero.
considering how the Fire Nation is and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's very much all for one kind of thing.
Yeah.
congratulations, buddy.
Very hairy.
The hairy
MVP.
MVP. Zuko. I had Katara number 4, Sokka 5, Iroh 6, and I had you as 7. I mean, she gave herself up to be.
Yeah, but she wasn't that big in this the whole overall arc of the story till the very, very end.
And even that,
Honorable mentions at that point.
Even then, I mean, like her dating Sokka and stuff like that, it was cute, but it wasn't really.
I know.
Yeah, it's a cute love story.
She
It didn't
gave
add much.
herself up.
Yeah.
Essentially saved the world.
Yeah.
That was like 3 episodes, mate.
All right. Best antagonist.
Best antagonist.
Zhao.
Well,
I think Zhao. I mean, Zuko is probably a better antagonist as a whole. I know he's anti-hero, but I think Zhao definitely deserves.
He
Zhao was a very good. Yeah, he was like you felt the villainness with
like he's incompetent,
Zhao.
but he's a powerful but yet incompetent antagonist that does a lot of bad shit.
Zhao / Fire Nation Army, because I don't want to give it all to Zhao. I'd say the Army too as well is kind of a big antagonist more than just Zhao, because you could see Zhao was very flawed.
Yeah.
Whereas here, the Fire Nation I felt was more direct and had more motivation, not necessarily always from Zhao, but
he's definitely
in
it for himself, kind of like Zuko, but in a different way.
Yeah, that's where I go.
Maybe the glory and the name and stuff like that.
I put Jet 3.
Put Jet at 3.
I think he's worthy of mentioning.
Yeah, he's worthy of mention, but
I don't think he's an MVP though.
MVP for antagonist.
Oh,
yeah,
antagonist, right?
Best antagonist. Yeah. I still give it to Fire Nation Army more than Zhao, just because Zhao you could see his flaws. Can you choose the army?
I feel like you pick one character.
Yeah, but technically, I mean, whatever.
Yeah,
you have to go with Zhao. That's the only other one you can choose. Because there's no other big fire pusher, because you don't really know that it's Zuko's father, I guess.
Yeah.
But you don't really notice. He's not really in it.
I think Zhao fits.
Zhao fits,
the Fire Nation Army, that would just be this whole show.
They do mention Azula at the end of the show, too.
They do, but
they do.
She doesn't come in.
That's what I'm saying. They're just mentions, though. You can't use them. And Zhao...
later.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like the army is different from Zhao, though. Like, the army was the better threat than Zhao ever would. Because we know Zhao is temporary.
But, like, Zhao was... He's a bigger threat because he's, like, so incompetent. And so, like...
But he's also driven.
Yep. Yeah.
Not
okay.
To do whatever. I mean, he literally sends all those ships in to be destroyed. And
he will destroy the moon for his own game. Like, I thought he was a really crazy, like... I didn't like him the first couple of times I watched this show, but I'm like, I actually really like this character for, like, who he is. He's not, like, the greatest threat.
Is there a character?
He is a threat.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that he's not a threat in the fact that he's a fighter. He's a bigger threat as a commander.
Mm-hmm.
Because
he's willing to do.
He'll do anything to get what he wants.
Destroy the world to essentially
just get his glory up. Exactly. He'll do anything.
All right. Best episode of book 1. Or episodes, you can combine them.
You said best episode.
Yeah.
Not episodes. Let me guess. Jake, I have 7.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do have 7.
Oh, gosh.
I have a number 1.
I don't know. The best episode.
It's clearly the Blue Spirit. I think we talked about
this.
this.
As far as just like entertaining to watch standalone,
I have Blue Spirit as number 1.
I do.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a question, I don't think.
With the deserter or whatever, I like that.
That's
one.
4.
Yeah, I like that one. I thought it was interesting, kind of explaining more of
that one I have as number 4.
And
I have Jet as number 2. So I think that's a pretty good episode.
It is
the Boomy episode.
Yeah,
that's up there.
That's 5.
The Jet one is really good, but it's just like so standalone.
Yeah,
the Jet one's too standalone. I think they make it too good for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean the what is it, the other air tribe, the one with the
Northern Air Tribe?
Is that the Northern Air Tribe? Yeah. That one's pretty good too. I mean, important, kind of shows more of like how people are coping with the situation and stuff like that they put in. Kind of adds to the world.
All right. We have a little bit of time left. So if we're going to do this, we're going to be quick. Firstly, before we go on, you guys are looking at me like what I have planned. I'll let you know.
Can you get this in 3 minutes? It's
my thought. To say about Avatar Book 1.
Not that I can think of when you put me on the spot like that.
Just wow! If you're experiencing it or haven't experienced it, or you're someone that still experiences it, I mean, it still holds up today.
Oh, yeah.
You can rewatch it and watch it.
And
there's something about the series.
There's
Yeah, I like it more as an adult than it is a kid. Like the more and more I watch it, the more and more I love it. And then just starting off with book 1, I think it's such the best startup I've ever seen in, I'd say, live action or any film or anything. For me, Avatar book 1 is the greatest startup. For a startup like that?
One Piece was decent, but I don't think it was this good.
I don't think it was.
Like,
a lot of people say that One Piece doesn't even start until after Enies Lobby.
That's fair.
Yeah, which is 300 episodes in.
That's fair. I do really like the first 3 episodes. I think Alabasta is more fair.
Yeah.
But like, I think where we're going with the story, especially with the world government and Enies Lobby.
But as far as a concise story, there's nothing that comes even close to book 1 and Avatar. Just absolutely nothing.
I try to
hit its points and it does it well.
Clone Wars didn't even do this good.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was.
All right, let us know. Is there a show that's better than Avatar Book 1 for the first season? Who establishes itself in the world better than Avatar? All right. We can do this, but we have to be quick about it.
All right.
Avatar character draft. You're building a team.
Building a team. Who's going first? Who gets first pick?
You can only do Book 1 characters.
Okay.
Who gets first pick?
Do we have dice to do rolls or anything?
He's not even prepared for this.
Roll for initiative.
Rolling for initiative.
You have your dice around here somewhere.
My dice are in my car.
What? No, you had your dice here. I still had the in the container.
Oh, those dice. Oh, yeah. How about we just do rock, paper, scissors really quick?
Yeah,
Ready? Here we go, guys.
All right.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. There's the first pick.
Iroh.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
I'm second. I could pick the worst one. Well, actually, no, we're not doing snake.
Yeah.
Iroh for the first pick.
Yeah.
All right, interesting.
Iroh?
Yep.
All right. Brandon's going to Iroh.
All right. There makes you think my team strategy.
Yeah, I only have somewhat of a strategy, so you guys don't have much of an advantage. I just made a list.
Yeah, I have no strategy. I just know that I want it.
I'm gonna blank on character's
wait,
name
it's
after
my
the
turn.
first couple of people are selected.
I'm just gonna take Aang.
Yeah.
Take Aang. I'm gonna have to go with Boomy.
Zuko.
Yeah, you have to take
Yeah.
Zuko at that point.
Yeah.
I'm like writing all this down too. All right, Brandon's team's really strong to start off with. I'm going Appa.
Kyoshi Warriors. Does that count as a character? Or can you say Kyoshi?
You can do Zuki.
Zuki. Yeah, I'll go Zuki.
Bato.
Who?
The water. Or no, what is the name of the guy that trained him?
Paku.
Paku.
I have the names. Yeah.
Paku. Oh, you got a strong team.
Yeah, his team's pretty dope.
I guess I'll go Katara then.
John.
John.
Yep.
So you said characters that are. Do they have?
I'm taking all the secondary characters in the backstory.
Yeah,
This might be the most epic team ever.
Do the
I mean,
characters
he's got
have to
this.
be alive?
Yes.
Even though they're
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, you can't have the dead avatars. Yeah.
Kyoshi.
Well,
And it has to. They have to be. They have to be an active player.
I'm just gonna keep going down this line and say June
June.
was the anteater.
All right. June's good. Who do I want? Sokka's a decent choice.
Nobody wants Sokka.
Ouch. Poor Sokka. I feel for you, my guy.
Can I do a Hebe? Can I do a spirit? Is that allowed?
No, you just said.
No, you said you couldn't do that.
Yeah, you just said I couldn't do Roku. You can't do a spirit.
Yeah, that's how this works.
Okay. That was like debatable.
Yeah.
Hebe at least is like an active like force.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll do Zhao.
I'm gonna build the team of misfits, and I'm going with Jet.
Jet's on my list. All right.
We still haven't picked Sokka. Poor guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get Sokka.
You know, no, I'll take Katara.
I already took Katara.
Oh, you said Katara? Oh, I didn't say Katara. Okay.
Momo's available.
Yeah.
Yeah, Momo.
Did you grab Momo?
I didn't see Momo up there.
Okay, you didn't grab Momo.
Where's Momo?
Like he's by the summon skull.
I can't even think of
Is he?
anyone else.
Should I list off
Oh.
people that I have?
Give me a couple
let's have a
names.
couple.
Yeah.
Sokka?
Couple names. Yeah.
Momo. Teo and Teo's father.
Oh yeah.
Or you could do you, Beto.
I'll take Teo's father.
Teo's father.
Yeah, he seems smart.
I'm going to do the very best pick that you're all going to be very jealous of. Cabbage Merchant.
I'm jealous. He's got the best team. He won.
Yeah.
I'm gonna at this.
But cabbages!
Just like the last pick, then who's on the
Yeah,
list?
wait.
I'm gonna have to take Sokka on that team.
Thank you for taking Sokka.
Sorry, he's the final
he's
pick.
not the greatest for book one. He gets really good. Lately.
Yeah.
Let's read these teams back to us
All right.
here.
And you guys, when we release this episode in like 3 days, I'll have to do a thing.
I'll have to judge our teams.
Oh, yeah.
Best team, which I'm pretty sure Brandon's going to win.
We should have done a snake draft. Now that I think about it, that's so unfair for me. Rip, you got a third to sixth pick.
Iroh, Zuko, Paku, June, and Teo's father. Mm-hmm. That's a pretty formidable team. Mm-hmm. Donald's team is Boomy, Suki, Jean-Jean, Jet, and Sokka. And I have the very odd team of Aang, Appa, Katara, Zhao, and the Cabbage Merchant.
Yeah. You're like one of those definitely doesn't fit.
Is it Zhao?
Yeah. The Cabbage Merchant I could deal with. Zhao.
I could just see them all running Appa together, and the cabbage just like, my cabbages.
Distractions.
And Zhao's just like angry, like
burning his cabbages.
I feel like your team won't work well together. You have a lot of arguments.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I could see
Yeah.
Aang and Katara's the one who runs it over.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's like, my cabbages. And then he's like, fuck your cabbages.
Hurts them all, yeah.
My cabbages. And that's my team.
What a team. Really banking on Aang for that team.
I don't know. I think my team could hold their own. I like it.
I mean, yeah, Boomy, June, Paku. Wait, not Paku.
That's me.
Jean-Jean, and Boomy.
Yeah, I mean those are two.
Jet, Sokka, Suki.
Those are the two.
The two benders
of Aang for earthbending and firebending.
No. All right. Anything else about Avatar before we end this episode?
Can't wait till we get to Toph.
Yeah,
that's all I want to say.
Yeah, we gotta do book 2 soon, then, right? We're not gonna wait 2 years.
No, we shouldn't wait 2 years.
All right, book 2. I know.
It's gotta come, yeah.
I stopped watching Avatar because Sapphire was just like, we're gonna watch book 2. I'm like, no, we're not. Mm-hmm. We're gonna wait because I got Star Wars to watch. Got Batman. No, we did Batman already.
Yep. Oh, we have those. We were gonna watch animated movies.
Yes.
We haven't done that yet.
I fell asleep watching Dark Knight Returns. I was tired, man.
Okay.
I was in a zone.
Dark Knight Returns or Dark Knight Rises?
It was like 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, those are my favorite.
They're great.
That trilogy?
Oh. The animated, the Dark Knight and the Dark Knight Returns.
We're all so old, man.
Yeah.
We fall asleep to things.
I don't.
You're bald.
Oh, wow. Got him.
Hey, I shave my head by choice. I could grow most of my hair.
Nailed him.
I got gray hair, so. And then we got Ben Shapiro over here, so.
That's pretty true. What'd I say?
All right. Well, thanks, everybody. We are heading out. We got D&D to play, so thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Send me a Mario. I got it in. Yeah.
Got it in. And no, not yet.